Well, good morning and welcome back to this Daily Bark, where we discuss composition and ideas about composition, specifically relating to visual art. I want to touch base on meaning, clarity, and confidence because that's what we are all about here at the Academy. We love bringing artists in who maybe spent most of their life focusing on developing skill sets and get them to transition their energy into developing a mindset, and specifically the composer's mindset. Because again, skill sets are just the building that you build on top of the foundation. The mindset, the composition itself, is actually the foundation of the artwork. And so we want artists to kind of come back to a place where they begin to refocus on composing and also conceiving of the idea. So this is what Da Vinci said. He said that the conceiving, that the art is in the conceiving and the designing, or composing, okay, and not in the actual execution. So the execution is really where you develop your skill sets. If you want to be a master painter, you can be a master painter and develop that craft. If you want to be an architect or an interior designer or a fashion designer, an illustrator, whatever it is, these these are the skill sets, and these are the tools. You're gonna have to learn the tools of that trade and master those, okay? But what they all have in common is a common language of composition and design. And so that's where we want to focus. So we want to be able to get a great idea wherever they come from, whoop, and then out onto paper. Once we have that blueprint, then you can begin to really apply your skill sets to actually construct the painting or the sculpture or the architecture or whatever. And that's basically the process. So where we come in is we help people, artists, focus on developing composition. Okay. What we found is when dealing with artists who come to this place where they're struggling, and the reason why they're struggling is because you know uh, they've developed these skill sets and they become really really good at what they do, but they look at their artwork and they say there's no meaning to it. They haven't developed the mindset or the habits or the ability to really push meaning into their work. Um, and so what that then leads them to doing, oftentimes, is copying things or just mimicking stuff, but they don't really feel that they're putting themselves in their artwork. And so what we help them do is that we help them focus on understanding meaning. How do you inject meaning into it? So meaning could be a story that you're telling, okay? So it could be a narrative. It could be a sensation, a feeling that you're wanting to communicate or share or evoke in your subject, in your audience. Um, and so those are really like the two main ones that we would focus on, is really trying to trigger a response, trigger an emotion, or a narrative. And usually that's where we're working with. So that's how we're going to do meaning. Now, once you have that and you understand what the meaning or the purpose of your piece is, then we have to go into this, get clarity. We have to figure out, okay, if this is what I want you to feel, if this is what I want you to sense, if this is the story that I want to share, then how do I articulate it visually? And the way we learn that is you have to have the right information. You can sit there and practice for 40 years and not get it if you don't have the right information. So we want to make sure that you get the right information so that you can have a language to begin to articulate visually um, emotion or story, okay? And once you do that and you make those decisions, you see the information, you make the choices, you make the decisions of this is what I'm going to do. This is what the story is about. What we then do is build confidence. And, when I was younger, one of the ways that I developed confidence in my work was I went to um, Dorney Park. And I started working as a caricature artist. And they made us work in markers. And what I realized is when you start working in marker or pen, okay, um, you can't erase. And so you quickly develop confidence. So when you make that mark is done. You can't go back and erase it. It's done. And it takes a little while, but you end up building a confidence that when your mark is what it is, and it is what you want it to be, and you keep practicing that. So I often encourage people to sketch with a pen or some type of marking marking tool that doesn't erase. Okay, so by eliminating that that option, it causes you to step into a place that normally you'd be very uncomfortable with. But in that new place, you begin to find a deeper sense of yourself, a confidence, a certainty, a surety. And that's an amazing thing, and it comes out in your work. I mean, I can look at someone's drawing and tell what they were thinking because of the lines. So if the line is smooth, that's one continuous thought. But if it's like jagged like this, um, had a little technical difficulty there for a second. So yeah, so what happens is when it goes like this, there's a jaggedness and there's a hesitancy through it. There's uncertainty. It's also when you see somebody's mark and then it stops, and especially with a pen or even with a pencil, it gets really dark and thick right in that moment in that spot, and then they move off to somewhere else. And so what happens is this is really cool because you get to see kind of like you get to see where they changed their thinking. They had a thought. They had a thought and then they changed their thought, and that's really awesome to see. So that's what we do here at the Academy. If you're interested in learning more information about this, just have a conversation. If on Facebook, just Facebook me, message me. We can talk about it. What I like to do is look at people's work. We have a great conversation. We can discuss what's working, what's not working, how to improve things, um, and really find where you are. Some artists are. The meaning part isn't an issue for them. They have great ideas. They're very clear on that. What they have a hard time doing is they lack confidence, and they lack confidence in knowing exactly how to articulate this stuff visually, and that's what we can help you do. So, again, if you're interested in any of this kind of information, if any of this is resonating with you, have a conversation with me, and then we can take a either through Skype or just through the email and the phone or whatever. We can do an art assessment, just look over your work and see how you're using composition, where you're usually there's probably like 2 or 3 major areas that people are weak in, and so we can really just kind of get in there and focus and bring you up in those areas. And in doing that, you're just going to grow in your confidence. You're going to be so excited because you're able to have great meaning injected in your work. You're going to be able to see things far clearer. And again, you're going to have this confidence. And that's what we want. And that's what we get. Talk to you later.